So now we're going to talk about corresponding angles. So corresponding angles, once again, are formed when we have two parallel lines. So we're going to be given line A is parallel to line B, and line C is the transversal. And corresponding angles corresponding angles are when we need two parallel lines and a transversal. So corresponding angles, the definition is when we have the angles. That's the angles in matching corners. So you may be thinking to yourself, what does matching corners mean? Well, over here we have our parallel lines cut by a transversal. And so corresponding angles are in matching corners. So notice here we have two sets of four. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And notice that angle 1 right here, the matching part of this corner down here in this group of 4 would be angle 5. So that's what it means by same corner. So angle 1 and angle 5 are a pair of corresponding angles. And then, once again, we would have 2 and 6, angle 3 and angle 7, and angle 4 and angle 8. They are in the same position. So if I were to just take this piece out and plop it down here, 1 would go with 5, 2 would go with 6, 3 would go with 7, and 4 would go with 8. So, cool thing about corresponding angles are always congruent, so they're the same measure. So, all right, corresponding angles are always congruent. Remember, the squiggly with the equal sign means congruent. So congruent here means they have the same measure. So the measure of angle 1 would equal the measure of angle 5. And then the measure of angle 2 would equal the measure of angle 6. And so on for the next two. Now, you might be thinking, why does this work? Well, do you remember when we constructed parallel lines? Well, we constructed them by making two congruent angles. So our two congruent angles were the corresponding angles. Also, we know that these two are a linear pair. So they add up to 180. We also know that angle 1 is a vertical angle to angle 4. So the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 4. The measure of angle 4 is equal to the measure of angle 5 because they're alternate interior angles. So we know that the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 5, which is what we said. The measure of angle 1 equals the measure of angle 5. So corresponding angles are equal and will always be equal. And we'll dive into a little bit more why. But just like when we said we constructed parallel lines, we created it by creating two different angles, but they're the same. So just one's up here, one's just a little higher on the line. And also by using our other angles, 1 and 4 are vertical angles, 4 and 5 are alternate interior angles. So the measure of angle 1, 4, and 5 are all equal.